turkey, stuffing the turkey, getting the greens out of the bathtub if you're a Kamala Harris supporter, all of that great stuff, you know, because of course, Black people clean their greens in a nasty ass bodily scaling skin tub. And you're going to enjoy those greens and, you know, Patty's pies. Is it pumpkin? Is it sweet potato? With, you know, they have all these great debates. I don't want to keep you guys too long. I know you guys are getting ready for that Dallas Cowboy game, the Detroit Lions, and I believe there's another game late tonight. Hopefully the Dallas Cowboys will get a win out. The season's done for the Dallas Cowboys. I got my U.S. Air Force shirt on. I'm not wearing any more Dallas Cowboy jerseys until we get a new owner. And well, we're not going to get a new owner until the guy dies, and a new head coach. So it's going to be one of those things. But welcome to the show. Nice and sunny here. I just got done walking my dog, Benny. He's doing very well. Thank you guys for the condolences for my cat, George. After much money spent, $10,000. George passed away last week, and he was cremated, and he will be buried with military honors with me in the National Cemetery, along with my dog Belle that passed earlier this year. So I've been going through a lot with those two, but George was such a great cat. He was really a great cat. He was a feral cat. I saved him. The good thing is, his last year of his life, he knows that he was loved, and he was loved unconditionally, and he was fed. And I mean, he was a great cat. But Benny's sitting here underneath, not in trouble right now, but I'm sure it's going to show itself. So this last week, as you guys saw, Kamala Harris drunk, or she appears to be drunk. And, you know, from what I see, she's under some kind of drug, something, alcohol, narcotic. I don't know what it is. After being gone for about two weeks, she went to Hawaii with Dougie. Dougie, do the Dougie. And, you know, her white man husband, which, you know, the Black women never say anything about that. You know, when they're marrying others, no big deal. So anyway, Kamala Harris is back, and she released a video, and she basically didn't address the money. She didn't address the situation as it stands by. Let me pause real quick because I want to check the sound on this, because sometimes the sound works and sometimes it doesn't. So I want to make sure you guys can hear me. And it's just crazy how these systems are and how they're trying to stop us from talking. As you guys know, the new Black media is a problem for the DNC and all of these groups that are now out there, because that's where a lot of people get their source of stuff from. So wait, your videos. Let me go to your videos, see if I'm on. Nope, not yet. Let's see, where am I at here? No, can't find it here. Your videos. Okay, wait. Find it. It's coming. Give me a second. It'll pop up. I know you guys think I'm super literate with this stuff, but the older I get, the more farther and farther away I get from it. So it is one of those things. Oh, no wonder I'm on live. Duh, Facebook. I'm going on YouTube. Duh. Crazy. There I am. There I is. Let's see. Can you guys hear me? There I is. Yeah, you guys can hear me. Great. Okay. I thought I was on Facebook, but I thought I was on YouTube, but I'm actually on Facebook. All right. You guys saw the videos with Kamala Harris. You know, it's amazing to me that now that the autopsy is taking place, a lot of the hardcore Democratic shills and pundits and experts are saying exactly what I was saying, and the new Black media. But from the minute she ran, we told you guys, and if you're not from California and you didn't know this woman's record and what she was about, now you know. Now all of these Democratic pundits are saying, wow, she was really a bad candidate. She was really a bad candidate. big mistakes left and right, so on and so forth. You know, she's for Black people. Kamala's Black, but most of her campaign staff were white. Most of the advertising money went to white advertisers. But oh, sororo, so sweet. Is that what the HBCUs are teaching our young people and the people that graduate from there, and the sororos and the fraternities? F Black people, the talented nine. Is that what they're teaching them? How do you not go on a free Joe Rogan podcast? Because she was a bad candidate. And I told you guys that from the time that she announced and she was selected. But democracy's at stake. How could you support somebody that was not chosen by the people, which is a tenement of democracy? Oh, but we live in a republic. That's not the point. She did not go through a primary. And now this shows you how ignorant people are and how emotional women are, especially you younger females. Well, the older females too, because you guys are the ones that are into that first wave feminism bullshit. Oh, she's going to run in 2028 and da da da. She won't even make it out of the primaries. She won't even. You know what? I hope she runs in 2028. She will not make it out of the primaries. All you had to do was do your homework on Kamala Harris's time in public office here in California. That would have told you everything she needed to know. Or go to her 2019 campaign for president. Same exact end result. In debt, upset staffers, people don't want to deal with her, total implosion. $1.5 billion that we know of so far, possibly, allegedly, money laundered to entertainers and rich people who made a bag off of your $25 that you probably couldn't really afford to donate and all that other stuff. But it's your right to donate it. But people made a bag. The money's unaccounted for. If you can't run a campaign, you definitely can't run a country. So as all these pundits are coming out and they're saying what a bad candidate she was, what, you know, all the mistakes that were happening, now it is coming out that their internal polling did not have her in front at any time of her running, the internal polling. That's why she panicked at the end. If you guys were paying attention, the discernment was, to me, evident. And, oh, it's misogyny. They just didn't want a woman. Bullshit. Stop it. Stop it. 52% of white women voted for Trump. So is that misogyny? What do you call that? 78% of Black men still voted for Kamala Harris. So where's the misogyny at? 92% of Black women went out once again like idiots. Yes, I'm calling you an idiot, to try to save democracy and save your coochies. If you know anything about politics, you cannot run on the national level on abortion, because that alienates half of your possible voter base, which are men. Most men do not want their children deleted. It's just a fact. Okay? So most men are not cool with that, ladies. Nobody cares about your coochies but you guys. We just care to get in it, but we don't care about it. Your rights, women's rights. That was, whoever was advising her, it's just been a disaster after disaster after disaster. This woman, like I told you guys, is a failed candidate. She's an empty suit. I told you guys what she was about. Oh, she's a Black woman. She's not a Black woman. Candace Owens dispelled that deeply. But even if she was a woman of color, delineate. I don't associate myself with people of color. I'm a Black man. Hispanics are Hispanics. Asians are Asians. So on, so on, so forth. Okay. I'm not a person of color. I'm a Black man. So anyway, they're doing they're throwing out all these reasons why she didn't win. Misogyny, da, 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 da. But I've noticed in the political sphere, what they're not actually telling you, like the new Black media was telling you, and I know I was saying it, Democrats cannot win national elections if they lose 20% of the Black vote. She lost 28% of the Black vote. Thus, the result was evident. The math doesn't lie. I lie, people lie, you guys lie, politicians lie, numbers don't. Numbers don't. Democracy. Everything that they ran on was just a total joke. If democracy's on the line, why didn't you put her in a primary? I even gave them suggestions of invoking Article 25, put her in as the incumbent. She's more legitimate that way than just installing her and telling people that's your thing. To me, that's authoritarian when you're telling the American people, this is who you're going to vote for. All the polls, the press was 84% positive for Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump. That's a fact. All of this stuff is coming out. But see, you guys aren't paying attention because you're going back to your lives. Oh, I'm not in politics no more. Every 4 years, you guys come out and you guys become experts. Every 4 years, you become experts and you think you know what the hell you're talking about, and you don't. A lot of you guys have lost friends and family over a person you don't even freaking know. Ignorance. It's just the ignorance of it. So I want to share with you guys some of the stuff that they are basically saying about Kamala Harris. Okay. In this election, and this is from NPR, in this election, demographics did not determine how people voted, right? It didn't matter. Oh, I'm Black, so I'm going to vote Black. DEI and all that bullshit, feminism and all that shit ain't working anymore. People are tired of it. We need qualified people regardless of what their backgrounds are and whatever. So I'm not going to play the audio, but in the debate over whether demography is destiny, the 2024 presidential election showed clearly it is not. Democrats long believed that the diversifying of the country would lead to their party's long-term success, but President-elect Trump was able to win over many of the voters Democrats believed they could rely on, showing identity is less important when people feel negatively toward the incumbent party on things like prices and immigration. It's the economy, stupid. Your coochie, ladies, does not pay my bills unless I'm a pimp. Your coochie, ladies, does not feed me. And I'm not even going to try to be funny with that one. The demographic shifts seen in the election were pronounced in the swing states, with different groups mattering to different degrees in Trump's sweep, according to exit polls. Here were some clear trends. Democrats lost ground with voters under 30. In nearly every swing state, with the exception of Georgia, where Harris gained slightly, and Arizona, where support was the same, the decline was specifically pronounced in the former blue wall states in the industrial Midwest, where younger voters moved in double digits away from Democrats. There was a seismic shift with Latino voters, the very people that the Democrats thought were going to come into this country and they were going to flood the country and take over Black neighborhoods and all that other stuff and become super strongholds for Democrats for years to come. What they did not calculate is the fact that a lot of Hispanics are entrepreneurial and self-reliant. And a lot of Hispanics, I can't speak for all, are Catholic. And Catholics are very conservative. In the last few elections, they have gradually declined in their support of the Democratic Party. And 2024 saw a dramatic swing to the right with them. In some states like Pennsylvania, Nevada, and Michigan, Latinos shifted right by more than 20 points. Hispanics or the Latino world will come into this country under Democratic policy, but 50% of them, I would say, in my opinion, in my years of politicking, will vote conservatively. So by bringing these people in here illegally and giving them citizenship, that isn't helping the Democratic Party whatsoever. It's really hurting them in the long run as these people better their lives and their conservative values and principles take over. That's just a fact. Black voters also supported Democrats in lower numbers. And this is what I want to talk about. Compared to previous elections in many places, but the shift was less dramatic than with Latino voters. There was one notable exception, however, Wisconsin, where Democrats saw a steep decline with Black voters. What they're not telling you and what they're not talking about is the voters that stayed home and sat on the couch. And I want you guys to think of Georgia. Just think of Georgia, and I'm going to get back to that real quick. White voters were a high share of the electorate and voted in large numbers for Trump. Trump's margin with white voters was essentially unchanged, but white voters making up larger shares of the electorate in key states helped fuel his victory. 52% of white women voted for their culture. I do not know why Black women actually think, after the disaster of feminism, that the white woman fooled you in the feminine. We're not talking about all of them. We're just talking in general. Why you would think a white woman would vote against her culture and her man. White women, Asian women, Hispanic women enjoy the life that their man provides to them. They sold the Black woman the BS of feminism, and the white man was cool with feminism, but you better have my damn shepherd pie on the table when I get home from work by 5:30, white woman. They understand it. They're not going to vote against their culture, dummies. There's a political realignment taking place, not just on education and race, but also by age. Older voters, for example, were once seen as a solid Republican voting bloc, but seniors shifted away from Trump in the majority of the swing states. It should be noted that exiting polls conducted by the Edison Research has margins of error like other polling. Therefore, the shifts are not exact, but there were many that were significant and outside the margins of error. The polling was BS, straight up. BS. And it showed you that. It exactly showed you the polling was slighted in Kamala Harris' favor, saying that she was the race was going to be close. It's going to be, it's tied. She's leading in the swing states and all that. None of that was true. So if you are a Democrat watching this program right now, your party lied to you and you need to ask questions. That's all I'm saying. You need to ask questions. This is another reason why I left the Democratic Party. I got tired of the lies. I got tired of the lack of family values. I got tired of the Black man being put last in line. And I'm going to give you an analogy on that. How many of you guys have been to Six Flags or Disneyland or Knott's Berry Farm or whatever? Right? Now, you guys know when you go to Six Flags or Disneyland or whatever, there's these long lines, right? So you go in there. It seems like every time I go to Six Flags here in California, I can get there early in the morning. By the time 2 o'clock comes around, I've probably ridden maybe 2 or 3 rides. For the whole day, if I'm lucky, I might have ridden 6 rides. I'm talking about the adult rides. I'm not talking about the kiddie rides. I'm talking about the adult rides. Imagine yourself sitting in a line, and most of us have this experience. You've sat in a line waiting to get on this ride, right? Then the fast pass people come by and they cut the line. How does that make you feel? Number one, you don't feel good about it, but they paid for it, so you got to do what you got to do. But how would you feel if people who never paid cut that line? That's illegal immigration. And people who came here the right way, that's how they feel. Okay, so I want to give you guys that analogy to think about. Fairness is fairness. Now, I want to go back to Georgia. All of these pundits keep talking about, oh, this is why she didn't win. She didn't win. Nobody is talking about that 30% of the Black vote that did not vote for her. Remember, I told you guys, if Democrats run nationally and they lose 20% of the Black vote, they can't win. Much less the Black people that just decided not to vote and just sat on the couch. What about those? So let's go back to Georgia. Early polling showed that the numbers weren't there. As in 2020, when Biden was there, the Black vote wasn't, but they're reporting, oh my God, early voting is doing great. That was a lie. That was a lie. I want to know, and you guys should want to know, why was the national media lying to you? As we know, the CIA has controlled the national media, Operation Mockingbird, since the 1950s. So who's really controlling this country? That's when I talk about mind control, I know a lot of you guys think I'm just, oh, Donovan has just lost his mind. This is what I'm talking about. Why aren't you thinking for yourself? Why aren't you asking these questions? Why are they reporting? And it's called propaganda. The more I tell it to you, the more you're going to believe it. Hitler said that. The bigger the lie, the more the people will believe it. The polling showed in 2024, the Black vote wasn't there. Let's go back to Stacey Abrams. How many of you guys remember her? Stacey Abrams. And I'm just using Georgia as a snapshot. Stacey Abrams was able to garner in her 2 runs, really it was her first run, but see, again, notice how I'm spewing all of this stuff off the top of my head. Most of you guys can't do that. I'm sorry, you just can't. I can because I live politics. But anyway, in her first run for governor, she lost by about 55,000 votes against Kemp, who's the governor currently. She ran again after forming a group of voters to get out to vote, right? Some kind of get out to vote group. In that get out to vote group, she garnered over 800,000 voters registered. New voters registered, over 800,000. My question to you, what happened to those voters in Georgia? We're talking about she got over 800,000 newly registered voters. She ran for governor again, she lost. Ask yourself the question, in 2024, what happened to those voters? Where did they go? The national media is not talking about how critical the Black vote is. The Black vote is very critical to the Democratic Party. But see, this is what happens when you lie to Black people, especially this newer version of the Black. You can lie to the civil rights generation all you want because they don't care. They're not all of them, but a good majority of them they're stuck in their ways. They don't care. I actually showed a baby boomer the dextrament to her grandchildren and her great-grandchildren. She still voted for the Democratic Party and Kamala Harris. And which means you're voting for illegal immigration, to which it's going to be harder for your kids to compete for a job. These kids aren't competing in is it micro or is it macro? In a macro economy, a national economy. They're competing in an international global economy, which I believe is micro. She still voted the way she voted. She goes, I'm just used to voting Democrat. I'm just, and that's fine. Vote the way you want to vote, but don't get mad because your kids can't own a home. Don't get mad because if you leave them a home, they're going to lose it within, 6 years, maybe. I don't know, because you're not teaching them nothing. So again, look what happened to those voters. The Black vote is critical. Why is the national media and all these pundits glossing over the fact of the missing 30% of the black vote that either voted third party or voted for Trump. They're not even mentioning it because they don't want black people to use their voting power against them, basically. 92% of the women, notice they're reporting, oh, the black women showed up and showed out. Who cares? You still lost. It was that 30% of black men and women that walked away that cost Kamala Harris the election. Why aren't they talking about that? Do you see the abuse black people take from the Democratic Party? It's an abusive relationship. We get credit. We don't get credit when credit is due. And then when it's time to blame somebody, they blame black people. Nobody's talking about that 30%. And that's what they should be talking about. That is what cost Kamala Harris the election. When Joe Biden said, I'm going to get you the $2,000, I'm going to get you the George Floyd bill, I'm going to get you the police commission, all of these things and promises for the HBCUs, the student loan debt forgiveness, didn't do any of it. Any of it. I can understand if he delivered on something. The Democratic Party didn't deliver on anything, and they lost badly. People were tired. The younger people are not like the older people. They're like, no, we're not doing this. But ask yourself why they're not talking about that 30% of black people that walked away. I think it's about 28 to 30%. Black men and women that walked away from the Democratic Party. That is what cost Kamala Harris the election. She got blown out, don't get me wrong, as in losing the states. I know they're going to say, well, you know, she barely lost. Stop it. Stop it. A loss is a loss. When you lose 7 swing states and most of the country looks red, you lost. And it's a blowout. If you lost by almost 100 electoral votes and the popular vote, you lost. You lost bigly. But I will concede this. In those areas where she barely lost, it's still a loss. And those were the black votes she needed that could have got her those wins. It's just amazing how the Democratic Party continues to abuse its most loyal voting base, the black man and woman. 92% of black women voted for the Democrats. 78% of black men voted for the Democrats. So the majority of black people still voted for the Democrats, and they still will not acknowledge the fact that they have a problem with black voters. They're going to attribute to everything else. 52% of white women voted for Trump. That's still... White people in this country are basically 50-50, Democrat, Republican. That is it. Malcolm X, I think there's a video, you can go look it up, or it's a soundbite. Malcolm X said it back in the 60s. The black vote is the deciding vote. We are the one that decides who goes into the White House or who goes into the doghouse. And that small group of black people that walked away now controls the board. We're going to see how it goes. I just wanted to drop that little nugget real quick, you guys. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Thanksgiving is coming. A lot of stuff going on. The Dallas Cowboys are coming out. I have a lot to say, and I'm going to say this. For all my friends and family out there, and I know I wasn't invited to the cookout, and I wasn't invited to the Thanksgiving, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. It's very telling how quiet you guys are now. When I was telling you guys the truth based on facts and asking you guys to look these facts up, man, you guys showed your asses. You guys showed your asses. I'm not going to forget it. I'm definitely not going to forget it. I'll forgive it, but I'm not going to forget it. Showed me a lot. How you vote, I didn't even care. I'm just giving you the information. I've got friends that I know and I suspect are white supremacists. As we know in the military, there's a lot of rednecks or whatever you want to call them in the military, right? I don't care. They don't pay my bills. They don't walk my dog. They're my battle buddies or whatever you want to call them, whatever, and I give them grace and whatever the deal is. But I respect their right to think and do what they're doing. That's what a democracy is supposed to do. I don't shun them down. I mean, we want to exchange information. Let's exchange information. That's fine. But I'm not going to ride them down for how they believe and how they think. Maybe it is wrong according to what I think, but they have to live with that. So anyway, you guys, a lot of you guys, very disappointed in you guys, very disappointed. And your silence is very telling to me. Some of you guys have emailed me and called me and apologized and, you know, whatever. But a lot of you guys that did what you did, and you guys know who you are. And I'm not talking about you guys that ribbed me about being a Dallas Cowboy fan. I could deal with that. I mean, that comes with the territory of being a Dallas Cowboy fan, because we will rise to the top again. I'm talking about you guys that went off of your feelings. And it was a lot of you women calling me a misogynist and all of this other stuff. Oh, you just hate women and blah, 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 blah. Even though the facts were thrown in your face. This woman is not Black. She's this, blah, blah, blah. Oh, she went to a HBCU. That makes her Black. How ignorant are you? How ignorant are you? I went to Embry-Riddle, a private white, basically, school. Does that make me white? I just couldn't believe it. And this is the problem with feminism. You guys have a hate of men. But I'm going to tell you this based on my faith. I'm ordained by God to be the leader. By God to be the leader. Don't tell me you're a Christian and whatever else, and you don't agree to that either. Oh, but man wrote the Bible. You can believe whatever you want. I don't care. But the fact is, you do not run politics based on a feeling. It's based on facts, statistical facts. I know you can manipulate statistics, but the point is you got to have discernment. You got to have facts. And all I ever did was put out an opinion and facts. Don't listen to what I say. Research what I say. We say that all the time on the Dimitri K Show. Don't just listen to us. Don't listen to these sound bites. Research what we're saying. I want you to challenge me. Challenge me. But you can't go on feelings. As Black people, we are becoming extinct. And it's by design. And I'm going to end it with this. If you are now having a problem with illegal immigration, finding a job, violence, theft, crime, look at California where I live. Look at what happened here in California. We have no political voice as a Black person in California because there's not enough of us. No political voice because another group of people outnumber us because they're having babies. Be fruitful and multiply, as the Pope has told them. That is the plan nationwide. Just look at California as a blueprint. And I also want to say this real quick. If your community is talking about reparations and study, if your state is talking about study, stop that crap right now and say, we don't have to do a study. California has already done it. $5 million of my tax dollars went to a study that went through committee, financing, and all of that. It just needed a vote and a governor's signature. So the study is done. Direct them to California. Use California as your blueprint. But the gentrification that is happening in Chicago, New York, Oklahoma, Houston, wherever it's at, the blueprint was done in California. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, you guys. Like, share, subscribe on your platforms. If you guys like this information, do it. If you guys want to donate, there's a way to donate. But it's amazing how a lot of stuff that I was talking about years ago, especially about these Black politicians, and I will say it again, Black politicians ain't shit. That's just a fact. Enjoy your holiday, you guys. We will see you guys later. Cowboy Nation, rise up next year.